This is Nightline.
Tonight, a verdict in the au pair double murder trial.
Find the defendant guilty of aggravated murder.
What the jury decided in just 2 days of deliberations.
Are these the verdicts of the jury?
And Going Home, an ABC News exclusive with the little boy whose image captured the nation's attention. We're on the plane with the 5-year-old and his dad, asylum seekers who were detained by federal agents as they return to their family in Minnesota. Plus, after a night of big wins,
either Grammy goes
and
to,
the Grammy goes
and the
to.
Grammy goes to
history being made,
Bad Bunny.
News of the brand new home of music's biggest night.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the dramatic verdict in the au pair double murder case gripping much of the nation. Brandon Banfield, the Virginia husband and father, accused of enlisting the family au pair in his plot to kill his wife and another man. He's been found guilty on all charges. Here's my Nightline co-anchor, Byron Pitts.
We, the jury on the issue, join in the case of the Commonwealth of Virginia versus Brendan Robert Banfield, defendant.
A decisive verdict inside a Virginia courtroom.
Find the defendant guilty of aggravated murder of Joseph Ryan and Christine Banfield as part of the same act or transaction.
A jury, after nearly 9 hours of deliberation, finding Brendan Banfield guilty, 2 counts of murder of his wife and another man inside the couple's home. He also was convicted of child endangerment and a firearm felony. It was a twisted murder case full of intrigue. A husband says he walked in on his wife naked, being stabbed by a strange man, shooting him dead in order to save her.
Who is the shooter? Who shot who?
The grisly scene unfolding at the Banfield Herndon, Virginia home nearly 3 years ago.
Can you come down with me? Anybody else say blow up? Yeah, she's breathing. She's down. Come on.
A seemingly stunned au pair walking out of the crime scene.
We're getting the ambulance here now. Okay.
Telling police an intruder had come in with a knife and stabbed the homeowner's wife as her husband tried to save her.
He started stabbing her. I think Brendan shot him, and he asked me help to shot him too because...
It's okay. You don't have to get it all out right now.
I never saw it before. It's a lot of blood.
Okay.
But the couple's au pair, who was having an affair with the husband, says it was actually Banfield's plan to get rid of his wife so they could be together. Juliana Perez Magulis got a plea deal in exchange for testifying against her former lover. In closing arguments, the prosecution argued Banfield was the architect of their grisly scheme.
He was in love with Juliana. He was afraid of losing her. He needed to get rid of his wife so that they could be together.
But the defense hammered home the idea that the pair were together only a short time.
Is it reasonable after a 6 to 8 week affair that someone's going to try to get rid of their companion of 19 years, wife of 12 years?
Last week, both sides questioning 40-year-old Banfield about the 2023 deaths of his wife Christine and Joseph Ryan.
I was extremely terrified. I don't know that I've ever been more panicked in my life. Christine was yelling and obviously in pain.
Banfield's testimony, coming after newly released police body cam footage, shows him at the hospital shortly after the killings. This is the moment he learned his wife did not survive.
Hi, sir. My name is Gina. I'm one of the doctors here. Your wife has died. So sorry. Were you there at the time?
Yes.
The doctor then explaining his wife's stab wounds.
I was trying to apply pressure.
Yeah. I mean, those were enormous wounds, and you know, it's not.
There were so many.
The Banfield's young daughter also in the house that day.
I want to make sure that she's safe.
Yeah, she's safe. Yes, ma'am. She's only 4.
Banfield's hand still covered in blood.
You want to wash your hands? Probably feel better after that.
Prosecutors say Banfield, a former investigator at the IRS, conspired with his au pair, then 22-year-old Juliana Perez Magalhães, who he was having an affair with, to kill his wife.
Did you ever create any sort of a plan with Juliana?
No, there was no plan. At this point, our relationship is maybe 6 to 8 weeks old. I think that it's an absurd line of questioning.
You told her that you love her, but you didn't actually love her.
I would say that I had feelings for her, but they weren't nearly as strong as feelings for my wife.
Prosecutors say that Banfield pulls in Juliana, the family au pair, by concocting this entire scheme of buying a firearm, taking her to the firing range to practice, and creating an entire catfish scheme to lure an unsuspecting victim into the scene.
Prosecutors say Banfield was posing as his wife on a sexual fetish website to lure a stranger, Joseph Ryan, to come to the house and fulfill a twisted rape fantasy.
Okay, so in your version of this, he had already stabbed her when you walked in the room.
On the stand, Banfield maintaining his innocence, claiming he came home and heard the sounds of sex.
I heard the sounds of, I would say, moaning, as well as sound of skin-on-skin contact.
And then found the stranger stabbing his wife.
Christine was, I would describe as nude and on all fours, on her hands and knees. And Joe Ryan was behind her. She was holding her neck. She very shakily removed her hand from her neck, and I could see the wound.
Banfield admits he did shoot Joseph Ryan that day, but only because he claims Ryan was trying to kill his wife.
I saw him do a downward stabbing stroke, and that's when I fired at him.
But the story he told on the stand, vastly different from what the au pair testified to earlier in the trial, when she said it was Banfield who committed both murders.
Did he tell you what he wanted to do?
Yes.
What did he say?
He mentioned his plan to get rid of her. He got on top of her, and that's when I first saw him stab her with a knife.
Brendan and Juliana's testimony are worlds apart, in large part because Juliana, the au pair, is saying that he committed these murders, that he himself stabbed his wife, Christine, while Brendan is saying that he came across what appeared to be an affair using BDSM, and he saw his wife get stabbed, and he shot the assailant in self-defense.
On cross-examination, prosecutors challenging Banfield's account and says there was no evidence his wife was having sex with Joseph Ryan.
But we know from the physical evidence recovery kits that were taken from both Mr. Ryan and your wife that there was no semen, no DNA from Mr. Ryan found in or around your wife's genitalia, correct?
That's my understanding.
Now found guilty, Banfield faces life in prison without the possibility of parole. His sentencing is scheduled for May 8th.
Our thanks to Byron. When we come back, the ABC News exclusive. We're on the plane with the 5-year-old whose picture captured the nation's attention after getting picked up by ICE. What little Liam told our John Quinones about the ordeal. Welcome back. We turn now to an ABC News exclusive. The small boy and his father in those viral photos, back home tonight with their family. The images of 5-year-old Liam in his Spider-Man backpack and blue bunny ears getting national attention. He and his dad, asylum seekers, were released by the strongly worded order of a federal judge. ABC's John Quinones was on the plane with them when they flew back to Minnesota.
Tonight, 5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos and his father Adrian are home in Minneapolis. ABC News followed them on their journey from the detention center at Dilley, Texas, where they were taken shortly after they were detained on January 20th, to what Adrian called their freedom flight, the plane that would take them back home to Minneapolis. They were accompanied by Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro, who advocated for their release. It was a day that began at 4 a.m. Adrian carrying Liam in his arms as we walk behind them down the jetway. Liam looking scared and uncertain. I asked Adrian how he and his son are doing. We're happy to finally be going home again, he says. The little boy in C-21B getting first-class treatment by flight attendants. The chips, waffles, and orange juice most welcome. Neither Liam or his father had had a proper meal in days. The 5-year-old playing with a touch screen and clutching his big yellow stuffed toy, a Pikachu.
Liam, mira acá.
Liam, who had never flown before, getting to meet the pilots in the cockpit, pretending to fly the plane, earning his junior pilot wings.
Wings just like mine.
The 3-hour flight, just a normal journey for most of us, but for this father and son, it was the end of a 12-day ordeal. Who can forget the image seen around the world? Little Liam standing outside his home in his Spider-Man backpack and his blue bunny hat with ears. An ICE agent holding him by that backpack. That hat later lost. Witnesses watching as ICE agents detained his dad. The Department of Homeland Security responding, saying ICE did not target or arrest a child, claiming that agents went to arrest the father. He fled on foot, abandoning his child. For the child's safety, one of our ICE officers remained, and the father told officers he wanted the child to remain with him. But Adrian says he didn't run, but was walking a few feet ahead of Liam so that he could alert people in the house to what was happening. I would never abandon my son, he tells me. While in detention, Adrian says Liam suffered from stomach aches and vomiting, but that no medication was provided. He says his son also had nightmares and would wake up asking, "Are the police coming back to get us?" The father's message to DHS and President Trump? Rule with compassion, he says. Have a heart, especially when it comes to children. The family still has a pending asylum claim, but no order of removal. Liam arriving in Minnesota, smiling, and with a new blue bunny hat, just like the one that was lost.
Our thanks to John. When we come back, music's biggest night, making history.
Gracias por tanto amor, los quiero.
And moving to a new home. And finally tonight, the Grammys, making history. Here's Will Reeve with tonight's Nightlight.
Bad Bunny!
Bad Bunny making Grammys history.
Bad Bunny, te vi queremos.
The Puerto Rican superstar becoming the first Spanish-language artist to win the biggest award of the night, Album of the Year.
I want to dedicate this award to all the people that had to leave their homeland, their country to follow their dreams.
And winning Best Música Urbana album earlier in the night, and getting political.
Before I say thanks to God, I'm gonna say eyes out.
The win's kicking off an historic week for the 31-year-old. On Sunday, he'll take center stage at the Super Bowl halftime show. But perhaps the most talked about moment of the night came near the end from Cher.
Oh, the Grammy goes to Luther Vandross!
Luther by Kendrick Lamar and SZA winning Record of the Year, but Cher saying what sounded like the name of singer Luther Vandross, after whom the song is named. Kendrick officially becoming the most awarded rapper in Grammys history, with 27 statues, taking the mix-up in stride.
We appreciate you at the bottom of our hearts. Luther forever.
And it was a night of big performances. Lady Gaga casting a spell on the Grammys, adding 2 more statues to her collection.
I'm really honored. Being a woman in music, being a songwriter, being a producer is something that really makes me who I am. So I feel a sense of belonging here after almost 20 years.
What do you tell yourself as you follow your dreams?
You know, I always lead myself back to rehearsal and discipline and practicing. those things for me are like an internal metronome, and it allows me to keep a deep relationship with what I'm creating.
She said, take your time, watch the road.
The nominees for Best New Artist teaming up for a monster montage.
Tell me you got something to give, I want it. I kinda like it when you call me wonderful.
The Grammy goes to Olivia Dean.
I guess I want to say I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I wouldn't be here. Yeah, I'm a product of bravery, and I think those people deserve to be celebrated.
Olivia checking in with her biggest fan before coming to talk to me.
Was that your mom on the?
That was my mum, yeah. She's the first person I had to call because she was waiting up in London, so I was like, let me actually speak to her.
And country superstar Jelly Roll sweeping his categories, winning 3 awards.
But you are a Grammy winner, and how's that feel?
It is every kid's dream to hold. Every kid that ever wanted to do music.
CEO of the Recording Academy, Harvey Mason Jr., on the magnitude of the show.
I felt it was a great celebration of music, all the different genres, the diversity, the performances. I just thought it was a really special night to kind of come together around music.
And the one and only Lauryn Hill bringing down the house, returning to the Grammys stage after 27 years with a collection of artists including Wyclef Jean for a Fugees reunion.
Our thanks to Will. Another huge piece of Grammy news, music's biggest night finding a new home next year right here on ABC. That's Nightline. See you right back here tomorrow, same time. Thanks for staying up with us. Good night, America.